Ms. Ruger, good morning to you.
Good morning, Judge.
Do you have any communication with plaintiff?
I do not, sir. He's cut all communication off as of March 23rd between me and my children and him. And I had gotten a call from the school from one of my kids, so I only have one currently, and I have not had contact with the other two.
Okay. Well, Claire, a court will note that in the notice to appear, it says the parties must appear, and as you have, it sets forth the manner in which to do it, to appear by Zoom. He has not appeared. It is at this point, it is now 8:42 a.m. It was scheduled for 8:30. Ma'am, I guess I'll ask, typically when you get a plaintiff that doesn't appear, the court would dismiss the case. I don't know if you don't want the case dismissed. I don't note that you have filed a counter complaint in this matter. Is that correct?
I went and I filed as of, I think, the 30th or the 31st. I printed out whatever it told me to from the MichiganLegalHelp.org. And I did go turn that in, and I did send him everything via certified mail as well, to where he would receive my response.
You filed an answer in this particular matter. We have an answer, but you haven't filed a counter complaint for basically all of the items that you would file in a divorce case.
There is no counter complaint, just the answer.
Okay. So what I'll do is I will give you a period of time to do that. You can go back into Michigan Legal Help. They have the forms as far as the counter complaint. You can file a counter complaint. Then we have a counter complaint for you to proceed on. And then if he doesn't show, because what happens if we were just going to dismiss this case, you would have to pay like $235 to refile if you wanted to do that. Okay.
Okay.
So what we'll do is you can simply file a counter complaint, get him served with that, and that way it would dispense with your need to have to file and pay the cost of that, et cetera.
Okay.
What we'll do is, if you would get that filed, we'll reset this for a additional scheduling conference, about 30 days. And then that way, we'll see if he doesn't show at that time, you'd be able to default him on your counter complaint, and then you would be able to proceed.
Okay.
Okay. Do you have any questions, ma'am?
No, sir. I'm going to get that turned into you guys this afternoon.
Okay. Thank you. We'll end this at 8:45 a.m. The court will note the plaintiff is still not present, and then we'll just wait for your pleadings to come in. We'll see you in about 30 days. In a civil contempt of court due to your failure to pay child support and/or related expenses. Upon a first conviction, you could be ordered to serve up to 45 days in jail. If it's a second or subsequent offense, up to 90 days in jail. Do you understand the charges?
Yes, sir.
Court has appointed Mr. Sackrider to represent you in this matter. I know you spoke to Mr. Sackrider. Have you had sufficient time to talk to Mr. Sackrider in preparation for this proceeding?
Yes.
Okay. And Mr. Sackrider, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you.
This is in the matter of Boyd versus Dowdy. In this matter, Mr. Dowdy is here for a bench warrant hearing before your honor. He failed to appear on December 15th of 2021 for a bench warrant hearing before your honor. This is the fourth bench warrant in this matter with 2 prior show causes and no contempt findings. He's currently ordered to pay $164.50 each month. The last payment made to this case was November 23rd of 2021 for $500. That was a payment to clear a bench warrant at the time. Compliance was measured over 12 months at the $164.50, with no payments being made that left him short $1,974. Current arrearage as of the end of May of this year is $6,127.21. Mr. Dowdy booked into the Calhoun County Jail on June 13th of 2023, giving him credit for 8 days served, and he has no prior jail sentences.
Okay. Mr. Sackrider, do you dispute or contest any of the statements made by Ms. Platty?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Any questions for Ms. Platty?
No.
Okay. Any proofs, Mr. Sackrider?
Yeah, I call Mr. Dowdy.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right, Mr. Dowdy, can you hear me?
Yeah, yes,
Did you hear the testimony of Miss Platic?
yes,
All right. She testified that you missed a bench warrant hearing December 15th of 2021. Were you aware of that hearing?
I don't think so.
All right. Were you aware of the child support obligation in this case?
Yes,
You've been in jail since the 13th, is that correct?
yes,
Are you being held on any other charges?
yes, unlicensed.
Unlicensed. Do you have a trial date set for that?
No,
Okay. Do you disagree with anything that Ms. Platic stated?
no.
All right. Before you were booked into jail, where were you working?
Delivery.com.
And what is that?
It's delivering food. It's like DoorDash.
All right. And how much per week were you making there?
It depends on like how many hours I work because I make my own hours. So it varies.
Okay. And did you have any additional income to pay on your child support obligation while you worked there?
What, say again?
Why didn't you make any child support payments?
Oh, I was going through a rough time. I wasn't stable enough.
All right. What was causing the rough time?
I don't know. It was just a rough time.
All right. Do you have any issues with substance abuse or alcohol?
No,
Did you have any prior jail sentences?
no.
Okay. What's your highest level of education?
11th grade.
All right. Are you willing to work towards a GED?
Yes.
All right. If the court were to offer you a LEAP program or any program to find gainful employment once you're released, would you be willing to participate in that program?
Yes.
All right. Is there any other, do you have any current job offers?
Yes. One right now.
Where's that at?
I don't know where it is, but I know it's construction.
Construction?
Yeah.
Okay. Before you went to jail, were you filling out job applications?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
All right. How much would you say, how many applications per week would you say you filled out?
I would say maybe 15, somewhere between 15 and 20 almost.
All right. Anything else you'd like to tell the court?
No.
All right. Thank you, Your Honor. No further questions.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Dowdy, when you worked for delivery.com, how many hours a week were you working?
It depends. It just depends because
Well, tell me an average. Yeah.
I say 30, maybe.
Okay.
No, 25 to 30.
Okay. And in a given week, what would your normal average income be?
Maybe say two to 300, if that.
Okay. And how long did you work for delivery.com?
About 3 years.
So basically, a year and a half, approximately, a little over a year and a half, you were working for delivery.com and you weren't paying anything in child support, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Anything else, Mr. Sackrader?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, court will make the following finding in this case. In this case, Mr. Dowdy has testified that, again, that he was working for delivery.com, working there approximately 3 years. He was making, working 25 to 30 hours per week, making 200 to 300 hours a week on average. That he states that he was going through some rough times, but he, during that particular time, he was not paying his support obligation, notwithstanding the fact that he had sufficient income to do so. And as a result, the court will find that he basically failed or refused to comply with the support order, which he was aware of in this matter, and that he, again, failed to comply, so he is in contempt of court. Anything before sentencing Mr. Sacredo?
Yes, we would ask that Mr. Dowdy be sentenced to time served. He's been in jail since the 13th. He did testify that he had a job offer if he were to be released, and also that he would be willing to work with his caseworker to find gainful employment and begin paying on his support obligation. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, what the court's going to do in this matter, you've not had any prior jail time, Mr. Dowdy, so the court is taking that into consideration, but the court is taking into consideration the length of time that you had sufficient income to pay the support and just failed to refuse to do so in this matter. I could set you up to 45 days. I'm not going to do that. What the court is going to do is the court is going to sentence you to 21 days in jail with credit for 8 days served. The court will set a purge amount in this case in the amount of $1,000. So if you pay the purge amount, you would not have to spend that additional time in jail. Court would also order in this matter that upon your release that you would participate in the LEAP program in this matter so that you can acquire and find employment. Anything else, Mr. Sacredo?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Vladeck? Okay, thank you. The court will end this matter at 11:16 a.m. You're free to go. Have a good day. As a result of your failure or refusal to pay any child support or related expenses upon a first conviction, you could be ordered to serve up to 45 days in jail. If it's a second or subsequent offense, up to 90 days in jail. You understand the charges?
Yes, sir, I do.
And in this particular matter, the court has appointed Mr. Sacredo to represent you. Have you had sufficient opportunity to speak to Mr. Sacredo in preparation for this hearing?
Yes, sir, I have.
Okay, Mr. Sacredo, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, I
He
am.
failed to appear on September 15th of 2016 for a show cause hearing before referee Macklin. This is an arrears only case. Per guideline, he should be paying $116.25 per month. This is the 7th bench warrant. He's had 6 prior contempt findings. Mr. Coswell, his total shortfall is $1,395 for 12 months of compliance. Through the end of May, his arrears are $56,562.45. Mr. Coswell did book into the Calhoun County Jail on June 13th. And the Sheriff Department is asking for a reimbursement related to the bench warrant in the amount of $76.78. His last payment and his only payment on the case, Your Honor, was on June 15th of 2006.
What was the year?
2006.
Okay. Okay. Mr. Sacredo, do you dispute or contest any of the statements made by Ms. Brown?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. I have any questions for Ms. Brown?
No.
Okay. Any proofs, Mr. Sacredo?
Call Mr. Caswell.
Okay. Go ahead.
All right, Mr. Caswell, can you hear me?
Yeah.
You heard the testimony of Ms. Brown. Is that correct?
Yes,
Did you disagree with anything that she stated?
I do not.
What was that?
I said I do not.
Oh, were you aware of the child support obligation?
I was.
Okay. Says here your last payment was in 2006 through income withholding. When was the last time you were employed?
Probably 2006.
All right. You've been in jail since June 13th. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Did you have any other jail sentences between 2006 and this one?
Yeah. I've recently been incarcerated several times since then due to addiction and just having problems with that. Yeah, I just served, just did 328 days or 318 days in Eaton County. Tried contacting you guys by mail, letting you know I was incarcerated. Been out for maybe a month.
Are you being held?
What's that?
Sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Are you being held in jail on anything else?
I do got a hold on Ingham.
Ingham County?
Yeah.
Okay. Before you were in jail in Eaton, how are you supporting yourself financially?
I was fixing electronics, buying and selling electronics and online, just doing odd jobs.
All right. Do you have any issues with substance abuse or alcohol?
No, I've actually I've been doing really well.
All right. Did you participate in any programs in jail?
Yeah, the RSAT and the RMAT, I completed them. They released me 45 days early.
What are those programs for?
Substance abuse.
Okay. What is your highest level of education completed?
12.
All right. What is your plan for employment if you were to be released from jail?
I was actually seeking employment. Enroll with Michigan Works. I just need just need a job. Really, that's all I need. You know, I'm ready to start taking care of this.
All right. And when you were released, how many applications were you filling out per week?
I don't know, probably 4 or 5.
All right. Do you have a license?
I do not have a driver's license.
All right. Do you have any felonies on your record?
Not that I know of.
All right. Anything else you'd like to tell the court?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Mr. Caswell, when were you released from Eaton County?
I think my out date was 5/31, sir.
Okay, this year?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Okay. What have you done since 5/31 when you got out to acquire employment?
I've just been putting in applications. Been going to work first. I've been trying.
Let me say, before you were incarcerated, were you working at that time? You said you were buying and selling electronics.
Yeah.
And at the time, how long did you do that?
I don't know. I don't know, for a few years.
Okay. And what would you say your average income per week was doing that?
I never know. It's hit and miss. Plus with COVID going on, I mean, it's difficult to say.
Well, I'm just looking for an average, not
I don't know.
what you made every week.
Maybe $100 a week.
Okay. And you put in, you said you put in 4 to 5 applications per week. Have you applied in person at any place?
Yeah, a couple places. Most of it's been online. Most of it's been online.
You know, as you drive along anywhere in town, that you see all these places have, help wanted. They have them in the windows. They have them out in front of their businesses. You could basically stop in almost any place and, talk to them about a job. You understand that?
Okay. No, I do know.
Okay. I know that out at Denso, they're seeking employees as well, and they're taking as many as they can get. Have you applied out to Denso?
No, sir, I haven't. I was just told about that since I was in here. Another gentleman told me about that. That's something I'm going to check out as soon as I get out.
Okay.
I used to work back when I graduated school. I worked for I. Stanley, so they're like brother and sister companies. So yeah, that's something I'm going to look into.
Okay. Anything else you'd like me to be aware of, sir?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, court will make the following finding in this case. This is an arrearage only case. The respondent would be required to pay $115.25 per week, Ms. Brown?
Per month, Your Honor.
Month, okay. I didn't write it down, so per month, which is a pretty nominal amount. He'd had 7 prior bench warrants. He'd had 6 prior contempt findings. He's has an arrearage in excess of $56,000 in this particular matter. The court will note that he has had some incarceration, but not notwithstanding that, there were, as he stated, there were a few years where he was working, buying and selling electronics, making approximately $100 a week. That during that particular time, he obviously wasn't paying his support obligation to, again, when it's an arrearage only, and he's up over $56,000 in this particular matter. He has, as he said, he'd applied after getting out of incarceration 4 to 5 places per week. Most of that was online. Court would note that 4 to 5 places per week, that you could probably do that in about half an hour online. So it doesn't take much time to do that. He's not putting out very much effort, it appears. He also has stated he hasn't he hasn't applied in person, notwithstanding almost every business that you pass has help wanted signs in the window and looking for people to come in and work. So again, the court has not found that he's made a good faith attempt at compliance in this matter. Further, the court would note that he did have income prior to his incarceration. He didn't pay support at that time, so he did not pay out of available resources. And as a result, the court will find that he's failed or refused to comply, and he is in contempt of court. Anything before sentencing, Mr. Sackreiter?
Yes, Your Honor. We asked that he be sentenced to time served in the county jail. As he testified, he was serving approximately a year-long sentence in Eaton County. He was released a month ago, and then he was picked up again. We would ask that he be released and allowed to find employment to begin paying on this child support obligation.
Okay. Ms. Brown, what he said he'd had 6 prior contempt findings. Was he incarcerated?
Yeah, his last FOC incarceration was April 1st of 2016. He was sentenced to serve 60 days.
Okay. Well, Mr. Caswell, the court could sentence you up to 90 days. I'm not going to do that. First thing, I'm going to order that you reimburse the sheriff transportation costs of $76.78. In this matter, the court is going to, again, obviously, unfortunately, you're in kind of the revolving door at this point, but you need to take some action to get out of that. The court is going to sentence you to 45 days in jail with credit for 8 days served. In this matter, the court would set a purge amount in this matter of $1,500. And the court would further order that upon your release that you would participate in the LEAP program. With that, the court will end this matter at 11:31. Mr. Irish, in this matter, you're before the court charged with civil contempt of court due to your failure to pay child support and or related expenses. Upon a first conviction, you could be ordered to serve up to 45 days in jail. If it's a second or subsequent offense, up to 90 days in jail. You understand the charges, sir?
Yes.
Court has appointed Mr. Sackreiter to represent you. I know you had opportunity to speak to Mr. Sackreiter. Have you had sufficient opportunity to speak to him in preparation for this proceeding?
Yeah.
Okay. Mr. Sackreiter, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Ms. Petrulio, you can proceed.
Thank you, Your Honor. Mr. Irish has 2 cases before the court today. Crystal Carlton versus Joshua Irish, 2013, 24760 DM. In this case, he has a current support obligation of $108 a month. He is to pay the arrearages at $50 a month pursuant to guideline. There have been no payments paid on this case since the support reinstated in October of 2022. He did pay $100 to resolve the warrant, however. That was paid on 5/15 of this year. He's had 1 show cause that resulted in this bench warrant. He's had 7 months where he should have paid $161.50. He's paid nothing. I take that back. Well, no, I don't include the $100 that he paid to resolve the warrant, although it did go toward the arrears. So he has paid nothing. $1,130.50 will be the shortfall. If he would have been paying as ordered, he would have had this account at a 0 balance because his arrearage is only $551.50. On to his second case, docket 2015-3453 DP Ashley Fate versus Joshua Irish. In this case, he has a current support obligation of $145 a month. To pay the arrearages at $50 a month plus fees for a total of $198.50. His last payment paid, aside from the $100 to resolve this bench warrant, was on June 23rd of 2021 from unemployment in the amount of $79.32. He's had 1 show cause that resulted in this bench warrant. And then last year, he should have paid $2,382. Same situation in this case. He would have a 0 balance if he had paid regular as ordered. His arrearage is $1,884.86 through the month of May. Mr. Irish reports that he has a seizure disorder. When I talked to him 2 weeks ago, when we decided to adjourn this case, he was told that he should get us medical documentation prior to this hearing. And he reports today he is not seeing a physician.
Okay. Ms. Petrolio, you didn't, on the first case, the 2013 case, you didn't state what the arrearage was on that.
$551.50.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Mr. Sackrider, do you dispute or contest any of the statements made by Ms. Petrolio?
No, Your Honor.
Do you have any questions for Ms. Petrolio?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Have you offered him the LEAP program, Ms. Petrullo?
Well, I did not because he told me he can't work.
All right. Thank you. I have no further questions.
Okay, any proofs, Mr. Sackrider?
Yes, I'd call my client, Mr. Irish.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, Mr. Irish, can you hear me?
Yes.
All right, you heard the testimony of Ms. Petrulio, is that correct?
Yes.
Was there anything that you disagreed with?
Just the I've had a terrible time, and I'm a single dad of 2 little boys, and I have had 2 failed attempts at work. My disability was just abruptly ended in the end of 2019, beginning of 2020, and I have tried going back to work, and I have physical ailments plus my seizure disorder, among other things.
Okay. So, were you aware of the child support obligation in the 2013 case with Crystal Carlton?
Me and her had a hearing where the judge got up, walked out, came back, and said dismissed. She recently had done this, I guess, as of October of last year of 22.
Yes, that's what was testified to.
Before that, I mean, I've raised my son as far as with Crystal. With Ashley, I have not ever even been allowed to see him.
All right, you said you had 2 other children in your care, is that correct?
Yes.
And whose children are those?
My boys.
Okay, and who else lives with you?
Just me and my boys.
All right. And how are you supporting yourself and your boys?
I'm not. I've been getting food assistance, but that just stopped because I have to show medical proof, which I'm trying, but I didn't get a big enough window to provide that.
All right. Where do you live?
25.
All right. Is that a house or apartment?
A house.
Do you have a mortgage?
No. I own it free and clear.
Okay. How are you paying the bills?
I'm not. I'm behind. I have shutoffs.
Okay. Ms. Petrulio stated that you had a medical disorder. What is that?
I've had my initial disability, which a friend of the court still tries to charge my Social Security disability, which ended. I told you that. That was for my physical problem, my back problem. I had spinal fusion injury at work, blah, blah, blah. After that, I developed the seizure disorder since 2011. And on top of that, I've developed a lot of mental problems since.
All right. When did your Social Security disability end?
I wasn't notified till 90 days after, but I have to say it was the end or the beginning of 2020 or the end of 2019.
All right. And then you began receiving unemployment?
I worked through 2020 and collected unemployment through 21. And then I went to work with HVE in the winter of 21 through 22.
Okay. And when did you, what kind of work is HVE?
Siding, windows, construction.
Right. When did you stop that?
It was before spring of 22.
Okay. And then what attempts did you make to find work after the spring of 22?
I haven't. I realized I couldn't work and reapplied for disability.
All right. Where are you at in the process of applying for disability?
They did deny me and I appealed it, and I mailed in the paper probably 5 days ago.
To reapply?
Yeah, to appeal it.
To appeal? Okay. What is your plan for earning an income and paying these child support obligations?
I'm going to have to do something.
All right. What's your highest level of education?
10.
Are you willing to work towards your GED?
Yeah.
Are you willing to participate in a LEAP program or other employment program to find work?
I really don't ever have trouble finding work. It's actually doing the work physically.
You're unable
Nobody understands that, and you asked if I had a substance problem, and I don't. I was treated for pain, anxiety, many other things for, God, since 2007, and all that just abruptly stopped too.
All right. Anything else you would like to tell the court?
Not that I can think of.
All right, thank you. No further questions.
Okay. Mr. Irish, in this matter, Ms. Petrulio stated that previously she had talked to you about, again, providing medical documentation and all that to the front of the court. Why have you not done that?
Because my mind's as messed up as my back is. Your Honor, I guess it just slipped my mind. I can't keep track. I got 2 little ones in the house. I'm losing it. I'll be honest, I am losing it. And that stems from my physical disability, an injury at work.
You said back in 2021 through spring of 2022 that you worked in construction. Is that correct?
I did in 2020 when I was taken off disability. I went back.
Okay, so 2020 to spring of 2022.
With off time. That wasn't full.
Okay.
And 2 different companies.
Okay. And since that time, as you said, you've not tried seeking employment in this matter. And in fact, you said you have no trouble finding jobs, but just doing them. Is that correct?
Yes. That's what got me to reapply for disability.
Okay. But again, the reapplying for the disability has been denied and you're on appeal status, correct?
Correct.
Anything else that you'd like me to be aware of, sir?
I'm just going to try to do the best I can, go to work and try to get this paid up.
Okay.
And I'm one person. I'm a single dad. Their mom signed off them. I have no hope there.
Okay.
So it's difficult, but I will get there.
Well, you haven't to this point, so why would I believe that you're going to do it in the future?
I've been trying, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay. Anything else you'd like to tell me, sir?
Not that I can think of right now, no.
Ms. Petrulio, is there any prior contempt findings and any jail time as a result?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, Mr. Irish, in this matter, the court makes the following finding. Again, the testimony shown in this case that, again, that you've been able, as you said, you've been able to acquire employment. You have failed to do so. That what happens is, again, you have worked in construction from 2020 to 2022 and left that. You've said that since that time, you've not tried to acquire employment. You've not been able to. And what the court is finds in this matter is that, again, they've also asked at times that you would provide medical documentation to substantiate that you're not able to be employed. You've not done that. Obviously, there's no problem physically in providing documentation if you had it. Likewise, you've been denied your disability ended in 2019. Right after that, you were able to find employment. That you've applied now, that they've turned you down. So it doesn't appear that you're a good candidate for that at this particular point. What the court is going to find is the court is going to find that you've not made a good faith attempt at compliance. You failed or refused to comply, notwithstanding being aware of the obligations in this matter. As a result, the court will find you in contempt of court. Anything before sentencing?
That's, Your Honor. I went to work. I was cut off October, November 2019. I went to work summer of 2020. I only worked a few months.
Okay.
Probably 3 months. And then I was off work in pain, misery, mental problems, you name it. And then I went back with HVE to try again. And I couldn't do it physically or mentally.
Okay.
It wasn't a steady employment.
Okay. I got all that from your testimony, sir.
All right, thank you, Your Honor. Given the testimony of my client, Mr. Irish, he did testify he's caring for 2 children in his home, and that he does have medical disorders that have made it difficult for him to find employment. We would ask that the court not impose a jail sentence, and if it were to impose a jail sentence, give him a purge amount in the amount of $200. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, what the court is going to do in this particular matter is Mr. Irish, is the court is going to, I could incarcerate you up to 45 days. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is in this matter is I'm going to impose a jail sentence of 10 days with credit for no time served. The court would allow you to purge yourself of contempt by paying the sum of $300. What the court is going to do Mr. Irish, because of your circumstances, I understand you're going to have, what I'm going to do is I'm going to suspend your jail time until August 16, 2023 at 8:00 a.m. You'll appear back at that time. We will assess it. I'm going to give you that time to, one, earn the money, pay the purge amount between now and that time, or alternatively to acquire employment and start paying. If you do nothing, you will go to jail on that date. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
It's up to you on what you do. I'll tell you, you're fortunate because normally I wouldn't give somebody 2 months to do this, but I'm taking into consideration your circumstances. And so that will be the order of the court. We'll see you back on the August 16th, 2023 date. Yes, Ms. Petrolia.
The purge amount was $300. Is that total 150 each case, or is that 300 each case?
Oh, that's right. We had the two.
Yes.
What we'll do is we'll do a purge of $100 on the 2013 and $200 on the 2015 for a total of $300.
For Heather Mainstone versus Justin Parker, with Justin Parker being the respondent and payer. This is a bond forfeiture hearing, and the order being enforced today is from June 5th, 2019. Mr. Parker's current monthly support is $56 with an arrears set at $21.75 per the November 4th, 2019 order, including service fees for a total monthly obligation of $81.25. The date and amount of his last payment was October 31st, 2019 of $17. That was a court order payment. There was a bond posted that we are addressing today of $500, and that was posted May 27th, 2023. There have been 12 show causes, 6 bench warrants, and 4 contempt findings. His compliance of 6 months at $81.25 is $487.50 with him, and it would have been with a $500 posted bond, total due of $987.50. Including the bond that was posted with no payments made, his shortfall also would have been $487.50, with his total arrears amount at $14,143.14 as of May 31st, 2023. Per the order dated January 7th, 2019, Mr. Parker was sentenced to 45 days in jail. Mr. Parker was unwilling to forfeit his $500 bond, which is why we are here today, Your Honor.
Okay. So the only issue before us today is the bond, Ms. Weemheims, is correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Okay, Mr. Sackrider, do you dispute or contest any of the statements made by Ms. Weemheims?
Yes, Your Honor.
Go ahead. What?
All right, Ms. Weemheims, can you hear me?
Yes.
I'm looking at this, the court prep sheet and your testimony. It says here shortfall was, or compliance was measured at 6 months times $81.25 per month. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
For a total of $487.50, correct?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yes? Hold on. Is that a yes?
Yes, I'm sorry.
Okay.
All right. A bond was posted of $500?
Yes.
All right. So on this sheet, you have a total due of $987.50.
Yes, that would. Oh, I'm sorry. It calculates itself. That would have included if he was to forfeit his bond, but he did not. So that calculated $987.50.
Well, why would that increase his amount owed?
I'm not sure, Mr. Sackrider.
All right. So we can agree that the compliance is $487.50.
Yes, if he would have forfeited his bond, yes, he would have, but he did not. So that's why we're here today.
Hold on, let me do the math here.
Well, it looks like, and clarify if you could, Ms. Weemheims, looks like the shortfall is $987.50, but it would be the $487.50 if he forfeited the bond. Is that?
Yes, Your Honor.
I thought that's what you were saying.
Yes, I was.
Well, but the math of $81.25 times 6 months does not equal $987.50. Do you agree with that, Ms. Weemheims?
Give me 1 second, Mr. Sackrider.
Sorry.
It equals $487.50, which is what I have on the prep sheet.
All right, and so is that what's required for compliance?
Yes, that was, but he did not forfeit his bond.
All right. Okay, a cash bond was posted in the amount of $500. Is that correct?
You asking me? Are you asking me, Mr. Sackrider?
Yes.
Yes, the bond was posted, but Mr. Parker did not want to forfeit the bond, which is why we had to have a hearing today.
Okay, no further questions, Your Honor.
Okay. Any proofs, Mr. Sackrider?
I call Mr. Parker.
Go ahead.
All right, Mr. Parker, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right, you posted a $500 bond in this matter, is that correct?
Yes.
On May 27th of 2023. Are you asking that that bond be returned to you?
It's not mine. Yeah, it was. So that was the issue. The reason that I was asking for it. If I could at least relinquish part of the bond to pay off the past.
What would you propose?
300. Take 300 of the bond, and then I'd be able to pay 200 on the 30th.
Okay, so you want 300 towards your child support or 300 returned to you?
No, 300 to my child support.
Okay, and then pay an additional 200 by the 30th?
I have to. Yes.
Okay. All right, I have no further questions.
Okay, thank you. Well, in this matter, it does appear to be a simple case as we have an arrearage in this matter in excess, looks like in excess of $14,000. And we had prior contempt findings. The court had already addressed that issue and did sentencing in this matter previously. The only issue is the bond that was posted in the amount of $500. What the court is going to do is the court is going to order the forfeiture of that bond in total. And that would be the ruling of the court at this particular time. That will end this matter at 11:56. Mr. James, in this matter, you're before the court charged with civil contempt of court due to your failure to pay child support and or related expenses. Upon a first conviction, you could be ordered to serve up to 45 days. If it's a second or subsequent offense, up to 90 days. You understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Court has appointed Mr. Sackreiter to represent you. Had you have sufficient opportunity to speak to Mr. Sackreiter in preparation for this proceeding?
I spoke to him earlier, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Sackreiter, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay.
Thank you, Your Honor. We're here today with Robert James's respondent on three different cases. 1998 case. His total monthly obligation is $53.50. That would be $50 on the arrears, $3.50 service and processing fees. The last payment that applied to this case was February 7th, 2023, in the amount of $1. There was 9 show causes, 3 bench warrants, 0 contempt findings. We monitored his compliance by the last 3 months at $53.50 a month. He should have paid $160.50. 0 has been paid. The total arrears on this case is $1,108.11, and there was no previous jail sentences. On the 2014 docket with Vicky versus Robert, his total monthly obligation is $419.50. His last payment that applied was April 25th, 2023 for $25 that he had paid on his own. There's been 6 show causes, 3 bench warrants, 0 contempt findings. We monitored compliance by the last 3 months at $416. He should have paid $1,248. $25 was paid, so that's a shortfall of $1,223. The total arrears on this docket as of today is $4,649.51. On this case, we're also requesting a payment on his arrears, Your Honor. On the 2021 case with Michelle Pope versus Mr. James, the total monthly obligation is $1,328.50. He's had, I'm sorry, the last payment was made April 25th, 2023 for $75. He had paid that on his own. There's been 2 show causes, 3 bench warrants, 0 contempt findings. Compliance was the last 3 months at $1,325 a month. He had paid $75 of that. The shortfall, $3,900. The total arrears on this case is $6,947.18. We're also looking for a payment on his arrears to be ordered on this one. And then just for the record, at the last show cause hearing, April 13th, 2023, before Referee Coteau, Mr. James did appear for his show cause hearing, which in a tractor at a farm. An income withholding was set out to Wilson Farms, and Wilson Farms had said that they had never hired Mr. James, just for the record.
Okay. Mr. Sackreiter, do you contest or dispute any of the statements made by Ms. Hester?
No, Your Honor.
Any questions of Ms. Hester?
Yes.
Go ahead.
Ms. Hester, have you offered Mr. James the ability to participate in the LEAP program?
You know what? I believe I have, but I don't have the information right in front of me. He would be able to answer that.
You have, Jamie.
I have, okay.
And he was found ineligible because
hold on, Ms. Huntley, or Ms. Pope. You don't have a chance to speak now. I'm going to give you an opportunity to speak later, but not now, okay? Go
All
ahead.
right. No further questions, Your Honor.
Okay, any proofs, Mr. Sackreiter?
Yes, I call Mr. James Jr.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, Mr. James, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
You heard the testimony of your caseworker, Ms. Hester. Is there anything that you disagreed with?
Well, I did make a payment yesterday, sir, that wasn't brought up. I don't know if it hasn't been posted yet or what have you, but I did make a payment yesterday of $100. But other than that, no, sir.
Okay. Where are you currently working?
I am not working. Like I told you earlier, I've applied for over 100 jobs. And every time I get something going, this home invasion case jumps up that I have pending with Miss Pope, and the offer is usually rescinded. Yesterday I was called and offered a job at Thompson Construction in Coldwater, starting July 10th.
Okay. When was the last time you were working?
In October, sir.
October of last year?
Correct.
Where were you working?
At McClellan Apartments.
Okay. And were you making regular payments on your child support obligations?
There was an income withholding at the time, yes.
All right. And so that employment ended in October of 2022. What have you been doing to find employment since that time?
Like I said, I've applied for over 100 jobs. I've been to multiple interviews. I've had 2 job offers. Once the background check comes back with a pending home invasion case, they rescind their offer.
Okay. And is that pending in Calhoun County?
That's correct, sir.
What is the status of the case?
As of right now, there's no upcoming court date scheduled.
Okay. Is there a reason for that?
That I'm not sure. I talked to my attorney yesterday, and he was supposed to check the status and let me know. I haven't heard back from him. Don Hammond is his name.
Okay. And you said you were just offered employment at Thompson Construction?
That's correct.
All right. Have you accepted that employment offer?
I have, and I start, like I said, July 10th, sir.
All right. And do you know the pay there?
$19 an hour.
All right. Do you know how many hours per week?
It should be between 38 and 45, Monday through Friday.
Right. Are you willing to set up income withholding?
Yes, I've let the foreman know there that there will be an income withholding set out.
All right. How have you been supporting yourself since October of last year?
So basically, I just do odd jobs here and there. Occasionally, I work for my brother-in-law who has a dairy farm. I don't know if they sent out a Wilson income withholding to the proper Wilson Dairy, because there's several of them. But the Wilson is spelled with 2 L's. It's WILLSON Dairy, and that's in Marshall, Michigan.
Okay. And
but I only work roughly 20 to 30 hours a week.
Okay.
And that's not every week. It's just whenever he needs help.
All right. Are you getting help with paying your living expenses?
Right now, I live with my parents.
Okay. And you voluntarily made payments on your child support obligations during that time from October to now?
That's correct, when I could.
All right. Do you have an ability to pay any money today?
I could make a payment today.
Of how much?
Well, I mean, I could probably pay 100 or 150 on each case.
All right. All right. Anything else you would like to tell the court?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you. No further questions, Your Honor.
Thank you. Mr. James, in this matter, you stated that you'd work some odd jobs, and obviously, how much would you say you average per week working those odd jobs?
Maybe 200, sir.
Okay. And when you worked for your brother, let's say on average, you're saying you were working 20 to 30 hours a week. How much would you make working for him on average?
So he paid me $15 an hour cash, sir.
Okay. So at that, you were working anywhere from basically anywhere from 300 in that matter to, let's say, 450 per week then?
Well, not quite that much. Like I say, about 20 hours. So roughly 350, sir,
Okay.
on the top end.
Okay. Well, if you're working the odd jobs and you're making 200 and you're making 300 at that, why were you not paying any more money on your support obligations?
Well, to be honest with you, sir, I was trying to pay all my obligations. I paid over $1,000 in dance for my daughter's dance class so she could dance. Her mother was adamant about making sure I paid for that so my daughter could dance. I just trying to make every end meet that I could.
Okay.
It's not that I don't want to pay. It's just that I really don't have the means to pay. My truck's about to be repossessed. Like I say, I'm starting a new job July 10th, and everything should fall back into place after that.
Okay. Anything else you'd like me to be aware of, sir?
No, like I say, I can make a payment if necessary today or first thing in the morning.
Okay, you said 150 per case, so you've got 3 cases. That'd work out to $450.
Yeah, I'll just borrow it from my mother. I've got good credit with her.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to tell me, sir?
No, sir.
Okay. Why don't we start, Ms. Pope? What would you like me to be aware of?
So, Robert, he's 100% being deceitful about the his job at Wilson Dairy. And I know this because I've been with him when he's cashed a check from Wilson Dairy that's on their, company. It's a company check. We dated for long years before we separated. In fact, I have text messages on my phone and on my daughter's phone and recordings where he can't see his daughter because he's working. He also has a bank account that he cashes the checks at. So is there any way, can he have to provide his bank statement so you can see the checks being deposited? Because he's working. He did this. The home invasion was in January 1st. He quit his job in October before the home invasion. Robert is a habitual. He goes through jobs frequently. That's what led to our separation. I always had to, fork the bill for everything. He's 100% being deceitful. Also, friend of the court had the correct address to Wilson Dairy because I provided it to them myself. And I know the address. His sister and brother-in-law, just like Robert, they're, and he said it before. Actually, at our last show calls, he hung up, he disconnected the Zoom call. And after it was brought to his attention that he was appearing while sitting in a tractor, and he said, and the referee said, I'm going to refer this to the judge to deal with this. And he, quote unquote, said, good luck, and hung up. He's a habitual scammer. He's scamming the system to get out of having to pay child support and responsibilities. That's exactly what this is. He works full time at the farm. He gets paid on company checks that's deposited into his bank account. He has vehicle. He has softball teams. He's a very active man. How do you support yourself? He said he does odd jobs here and there. That's employment. Whether you want to call it an odd job or you're employed with a big company, you're working. The income withholding thing, that's his sister and brother-in-law. I'm not surprised they're not going to do it because of that. Make him forget the income withholding then and make him have to pay it out of pocket every month. And they will never respond to an income withholding. He works there full time. He's being deceitful. I know that. I dated him for 8 years. I helped him with Vicky, his other cases before we separated. So I know how he is. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Huntley, anything you'd like to say?
Robert's been working for Wilson Dairy since I've known him, and I was with him from 2012 to 2014. So this is not a new thing. It's been the same thing over and over again.
Okay. Anything else, ma'am?
No, sir.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Sackrider?
No, nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, in this particular matter, the court will note that, again, Mr. James has testified in this matter that he last worked in October of 2022. There have been some statements made by both of the mothers in this particular case that he's working full-time, et cetera. We don't know that for a fact, but we'll take that for what it's worth. He testified that in this matter, that he did work odd jobs where he was making $200 a week. Other times where he was working for Wilson Dairy, he was making $350 per week. Notwithstanding that, at those times, he was not paying his support obligations. So the court will find that he did, in fact, fail or refuse to comply, and that he willfully failed to pay in this matter. And the court will find him in contempt of court in this particular case. With that, anything, Mr. Sackrider, that you'd like to that you'd like to say before we pronounce sentence?
Yes, Your Honor. We would ask that Mr. James be allowed to participate in the employment that he was offered beginning July 10th. And he did testify that he's willing to set up income withholding to begin making payments. If the court does impose a sentence, we would ask that it be suspended and that any purge amount be in the amount of $450. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, what the court's going to do is, Mr. James, I could sentence you up to 45 days in jail. I'm not going to do that. What I am going to do is I am going to sentence you to 21 days in jail with credit for no time served. Court will, in this matter, what the court is going to do is the court will set a purge amount on each of the cases in the amount of $500. What I'm going to do is I'm going to suspend that sentence through August 16, 2023 at 8:45 a.m. You'll have to come back at that time. That will give you time to acquire the employment that you stated you have coming. Also, during that time, to pay the purge amount on each of the cases. If you pay the purge amount, then you don't have to go to jail. If you don't pay the purge amount on that August 16th date, you will be going to jail and serving your jail sentence. You understand that, sir?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. For Ms. Huntley and Ms. Pope, just so you know, in this case, what we're attempting to do is obviously the importance is to get money coming to you so that you have money to support your children in this case. And the court looks at that as paramount to any particular punishment, unless it gets so egregious that, again, that's just not going to be an option. But we're giving Mr. James an opportunity, but I will tell you, this is the last opportunity. If he doesn't comply, then he is going to go to jail. So the court would also, in the case with Ms. Huntley, in this matter, the court would set a arrearage repayment. Well, I'll do it on both cases, arrearage repayment in the amount of $50 per month on both cases. So that will be added to the amount that's owed in both of those particular matters. Anything else, Mr. Sackrider?
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Hester?
Yes, Your Honor. Two things on all these. Are you ordering court costs?
I didn't hear you.
Are you ordering court costs on these three cases?
Court cost?
Mm-hmm.
No, well, no, I'm not ordering any court costs at this point.
Okay, and then the other thing is could we please set it 8:16 at 8 a.m. instead of 8:45?
Oh, yeah, we can set it. We'll do it at 8 a.m. then.
Okay, thank you.
And so, Mr. James, you'll have to be back on that August 16th date. We'll see what you're doing to comply. I will tell you, if you don't, if you pay the purge amount of $500 in each case, then again, that would take care of it. If not, you're going to basically have to appear and demonstrate why you haven't. And at that point, be prepared to go to jail. Okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Thank you.
You said August 16th, sir?
August 16th at 8:00 a.m. Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Court will end this matter at 12:18 a.m. You're free, or at Mr. Kelly, in this matter, you're before the court charged with civil contempt of court duty or failure to pay child support and or related expenses. Upon a first conviction, you could be ordered to serve up to 45 days in jail. If it's a second or subsequent events, up to 90 days in jail. You understand the charges?
Yes, Your Honor.
Court would advise you in this matter that I've appointed Mr. Sackrider to represent you. Have you had sufficient opportunity to speak to Mr. Sackrider in preparation for this proceeding?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And Mr. Sackrider, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
Involving Jade Haggerty versus Brandon Kelly. The total monthly obligation for this case is $1,423.50 a month. The last payment made was February 28th, 2023, in the amount of $429.60 that was paid on his own. There's been 3 show causes, 0 bench warrants, 0 contempt findings. We monitor compliance by the last 3 months at $1,423.50. That equals $4,270.50. He was ordered to make a $2,000 lump sum payment, which made the total due $6,270.50. Nothing was paid. The total arrears on this case as of today is $7,933.40. There's been no previous jail sentences. And just for the record, when I called Mr. Kelly this morning, his voicemail did say that I had reached Kelly Carpentry in Ann Arbor.
Okay. Mr. Secretary, do you contest or dispute any statements made by Ms. Hester?
No, Your Honor.
You have any questions for Ms. Hester?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. Have you offered Mr. Kelly the opportunity to participate in the LEAP program?
I don't believe he has done that. But I don't believe that we have. He's always had employment as far as I'm aware.
All right. I have no further questions.
Okay, any proofs, Mr. Secretary?
Yeah, I call Mr. Kelly.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, Mr. Kelly, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. Did you hear the testimony of Ms. Hester?
Yes.
Is there anything that you disagreed with?
No.
All right. You were ordered to pay $1,423.50 per month. Were you aware of that obligation?
Yes.
Is that amount too high for your current income?
Currently, yes.
Okay. And are you willing to take steps to file a motion to have that amount changed if necessary?
Yes.
All right. You made a payment on February 28th, 2023 in the amount of $429.60. Is that correct?
Correct.
All right. And are you currently working?
I'm self-employed, but our revenue is at a point where I'm just covering costs.
All right. How long have you been self-employed?
10 years.
All right. What kind of work do you do?
Residential remodeling.
All right. And recently you've had a slowdown in work?
Yes. Last fall, we had a significant slowdown. I had to lay off several employees and liquidate company property in order to cover expenses, including child support. And we are now in the process of rebuilding our workforce and client base.
All right. Are you also going through a divorce?
Correct. It was final in February.
Okay. And are you waiting on a property settlement from that divorce?
I am.
And what does that involve?
Because of my ex-wife's cancer diagnosis, it was determined in mediation to allow her through this year into next year time to recover until the sale of the house, which then I am entitled to a portion of the equity at the sale.
Okay. Is there any amount that you could pay today on your obligation?
I could pay $500 today.
Okay. What is your plan for paying your child support obligation in the future?
I have several jobs close to a contract, which would and a new employee as of the last 3 weeks roughly, which is allowing us to move at a faster pace and generate income sufficient to begin paying regularly on child support.
And are you working on any issues for sobriety?
I am. As of 8/5/2022, I voluntarily entered a program of sobriety, mainly involving Alcoholics Anonymous. My issues with that played a significant role in my most recent divorce and affected my ability to work efficiently. But as of today, I have been alcohol and mind-altering substance free for almost 11 months, which has made a great impact on my ability to perform consistently, and it is my intention to continue that.
Okay. Anything else you'd like to tell the court?
No, sir.
All right. Thank you. No further questions.
Okay. Mr. Kelly, so you're self-employed for approximately 10 years. Obviously, you had some issues with sobriety that affected your work, but you're working now. Is that correct? You have ongoing jobs?
Correct, Your Honor.
What would you say over the last year? What's been your average weekly income from your job or from your business?
It'd be hard to say. I mean, gross revenue, maybe $3,000. We have I have a payroll and a rent on the business lease space, which I'd actually been living in for the past 10 months as well, unable to afford regular housing. So anything that is net profit has not been significant for the past several months.
Okay. Have you attempted to acquire full-time employment outside your self-employment?
I have not.
Okay. And what's the reason for that?
Historically, the business has been able to produce enough income for myself and to cover child support. I've been able to pay that more or less regularly over since the beginning of the case in 2012. It's been an unusual year. I'm also committed significantly in a lease space and overhead that, in my opinion, it is long-term more likely that I will return to that and be able to pay regularly again versus trying to close the business, so to speak, and work at a much lower rate of income. What I would qualify for in the field is much less than I would make working for myself.
And what do you figure you could make if you were employed elsewhere in the field but not self-employed? How much could you make doing that?
At an entry level, maybe $20, $25 an hour.
Okay. And what's the extent of your educational background, sir?
High school and some college.
Okay. Anything else that you'd like me to be aware of?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Haggerty, is there something you would like me to be aware of, or what would you like to see the court do in this matter?
Well, that's really hard to say. I mean, I have several things I'd like to weigh in on, namely that, Brandon has not mentioned the children once, and he has not seen the children in a year and a half. When we were going through some custody things earlier in the year, I think his 2021 business earnings were totaling over $500,000, and that was a loss for him. So, he had the ability to learn, and his personal matters, we all have personal matters, and we are still raising the kids over here. And he has had 3 hearings previous to this with the referee, which he has, made make the promise of paying these different amounts, and he has yet to do so. And if we look back in the history of over 10 plus years of child support payment, even when his business was bringing in the most earnings, he was never consistent with child support. I don't think there's ever been a year where Mr. Kelly has paid child support monthly for the entire year, maybe one in the series of 10 years. So, I really am at a loss at this point. I mean, the kids still have to have a roof over their head. They still have to be fed. We've provided medical. He's not seen or provided for them, not seen them in a year and a half. So, I mean, the list really goes on. Self-employment is a choice at this point. He's made some other choices with employees that, that's speculation on my part, so I won't go into that. But at some point you have to say, I'm not providing anything for my kids, even financially. I think the minimum he could do would go be a job, and, not even $10, to provide for his children. Never a question of, are they provided for? Are they cared for? Which they are, in our home. But, we have a son that's going to college. Mr. Kelly was not a part of any of his graduation, anything. We just really are at a loss, these hearings, and, continue. I just feel he's been continually able to get a pass on these things, and it's ongoing. Even in his history of payments, he would go a month and pay, go a couple months and not pay. Mr. Kelly, has the ability to provide a life for himself. He's just moved into a new residence. He's gone on trips and vacations and things in the last year and a half and not provided for his kids consistently. So, I just really would like to make it clear that I don't believe any promise to pay at this point is just an extenuation of, what he's exhibited in the past, which is that he will not pay consistently for the kids. It's not a priority for him. And, I sure wish it was.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Sackrider, anything else?
No, nothing further, Your Honor.
Well, the court's heard the testimony in this case. It does appear Mr. Kelly has had a high school education, some college. He's been self-employed for approximately 10 years. as he stated, historically, he's been able to meet his expenses, pay his child support in the past. However, he does have a substantial support arrearage of almost $8,000 in this particular matter. He states that he believes that he could maintain his business and be self-employed, that he would make more than if he was out trying to work for someone else, where he stated he could make anywhere from $20 to $25 per hour. So clearly he has income sufficient to pay the support obligation. That the court will find that based upon his own testimony, that he's failed or refused to comply, notwithstanding his ability to do so, and therefore the court will find him in contempt of court. Anything else before sentencing, Mr. Sackrader?
Your Honor, my client is currently working. We would ask that the court not impose any jail sentence, and if the court were to impose a suspended sentence, and set a purge amount in the amount of $500. Thank you, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Well, what the court is going to do, the court is going to sentence Mr. Kelly to 21 days in jail with 0 time served as far as credit. The court will allow him to purge himself of contempt by paying the sum of $500. He'll need to have that paid in this matter by this Friday, the June 16th, 2023 at 4:00 p.m. or otherwise report to the Calhoun County Jail to serve his time. The court would further in this matter would direct the front of the court to, again, the court would grant in this matter a lien in this matter going to receive on the divorce case. He said that will be paid, he believes sometime later this year or next year, that the court would grant a lien against those particular proceeds to satisfy the support obligation in this matter. And further, what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset this matter to August 16, 2023 at 8:00 a.m. Mr. Kelly, you'll have to be back at that time. We're going to see what you do between now and then, and that will determine whether you go to jail at that time or whether you're going to stay out. So it's up to you. If you paid nothing during this interim period of time, notwithstanding you paying the purge amount to stay out of jail this time, you should be prepared to go to jail then. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. We'll see you back on August 16, 2023 at 8:00 a.m.
You just want one?
Okay, Mr. Anderson, we're getting ready to start a court proceeding, so whoever else is there that is taking away your attention, tell them to leave the room so they don't bother us, so we can pay attention to this matter.
Sub next on.
Okay, Mr. Anderson, you understand?
Yes.
I don't want anybody there distracting you as we proceed. Mr. Anderson, in this matter, you're before the court charged with civil contempt of court as a result of your failure to pay child support and or related expenses. Upon a first conviction, you could be ordered to serve up to 45 days in jail. If it's a second or subsequent offense, up to 90 days in jail. You understand that?
Yes.
Court has appointed Mr. Sackrader to represent you. Did you have sufficient opportunity to speak to Mr. Sackrader in preparation for this proceeding?
Yes.
Mr. Sackrader, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
This is an adjourned bench warrant hearing. He did resolve his bench warrant through front of the court, so there's no bond to address today. Mr. Anderson has a current monthly obligation of $98 with an additional $49 toward the arrears and $3.50 in service and processing fees for a total monthly obligation of $150.50. His last voluntary payment was October 5th of 2022. That was $55.04 through an income withholding. Mr. Anderson failed to appear August 17th of 2022 for a bench warrant hearing before your honor. This is the 4th bench warrant hearing. He's had 0 prior contempt findings. His total shortfall for 4 months of compliance is $602. The arrears through the end of May are $730.06.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, Mr. Sackrader, do you dispute or contest any of the statements made by Ms. Brown?
Yes, Ms. Brown, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. On the sheet, again, you've added a $250 bond. Is that correct?
It's not a bond. That was a payment to resolve the warrant through front of the court.
All right. And is that put towards his child support obligation?
It does.
All right, so why does that raise his compliance from $602, added $250 to $852, and then re-subtracted $250? Why does
Because
that lower the $602 by
so it's
$250?
included. I'm sorry, Mr. Secretary, are you done?
Yeah, sorry.
Okay, no problem. So in measuring the 4 months of compliance, which is $602, I included the lump sum of $250, and I included that he paid that $250. It's not a voluntary payment. It was to resolve his warrant. So it brought it back down to the 602. Just so there wouldn't be any confusion about him paying $250 through front of the court, but his last voluntary payment shows as October 5th of 2022.
Okay. All right. Has he ever been offered the LEAP program?
Mr. Anderson has not been offered LEAP from the case notes. And just so you are aware, and the court is aware, this generally is not my case. But no, during our last conversation, Mr. Anderson, let me look at the notes, Mr. Secretary. I want to be accurate.
Okay, hold on. Mr. Anderson, are you still there?
He's muted. Yes.
Okay. Just want to make sure you had it, the phone or whatever it was outside showing us the sky. So
my phone is close to my ear because the phone is kind of low.
Okay. Okay. That's fine.
So no, Mr. Anderson was not offered the LEAP program. When I spoke to him on June 7th, where he requested the attorney, he stated to me at that time he is not going to pay child support because the minor child is out of state. And he, so in him stating that he's choosing to not pay child support, I did not offer LEAP.
All right, so you spoke with him?
On June 7th.
All right, but this is not your case?
Normally, no. I did cover it on the 7th, and I'm covering it again today.
All right, I have no further questions.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, you heard the testimony of Miss Brown. Did you disagree with anything that she said?
No, I don't. Everything she said was completely accurate.
All right. How many children do you have with Nadia Briggs?
Just one.
All right. And do you receive parenting time with that child?
No.
All right. And were you receiving parenting time before?
Yeah, I had to go through my mom to get parenting time, or my little brother to get parenting time. She dropped her off to them instead of calling me or letting me get her at any time.
Okay. Miss Brown said that you were refusing to pay child support. Is that accurate?
Yes, I was trying to get in front of the judge to get someone else involved in the situation because she was avoiding giving me my daughter, and I can show messages of her saying she wanted to leave my daughter with me, but at the last moment decided to take my daughter out of state without telling me and didn't let me talk to my daughter for months. My mom had to beg her to bring her up here for the summertime, and now she's up here in my care for the rest of the summer.
All right. What is your child's name with Nadia?
Riley.
All right. Riley is in your care now?
Yes.
All right. Are you willing to file a motion for custody in this case if necessary?
Yes. I just filled out the paperwork today and can turn it in to you guys tomorrow. All
right. Says here your last payment on child support was October 5th of 2022 in the amount of $55.04 through income withholding. Where were you working in October?
October. I was working at graphic packaging.
All right. Have you been working since then?
No, I recently got a job for 2 weeks working at JBS, and then my car broke down. The engine blown on my car.
When did you start at JBS?
May 1st. Lasted till I want to say about May 10th is when my car broke down. Well, the engine exploded on my car.
All right. Were you able to, why didn't you make any payments on your child support from the income from JBS?
Because the income on my checks were only $500, and I tried to get the car fixed, and the car is currently getting fixed.
All right. Where are you currently working?
I just recently scored a gig working on houses.
All right. And when did you start that?
Today.
Okay. How much do you earn there?
Right now I'm just on an apprenticeship for anywhere from 10 to 15 an hour. I'm not sure yet.
Okay. Are you going to be able to make payments on your child support obligation in the future?
Yes.
All right. Are you currently taking, what's your highest level education completed?
Current highest level of education completed was high school diploma, but I'm enrolled in the fall classes for KVCC.
Okay, so you're enrolled at KVCC in the fall?
Yes.
All right. All right. Anything else that you would like to tell the court?
No, sir.
All right, nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Anderson, you, sorry, you say started working today on working on houses, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Well, I started a parent today, working on houses.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. What was that?
In an apprenticeship working on houses today.
Okay.
It's not.
And you'll make $10 to $15 per hour, correct?
Yeah, until I'm here.
Okay. You understand on the issue of support that is not, again, it's not mutually dependent upon, again, the issue as it relates to parenting time, that you have a right to, if you're not getting your parenting time, you have a right to file a motion to have the other party held in contempt of court. You understand that, sir?
Yes.
Okay. Just want to let you know that, so that if you're not receiving that you do know that you have an avenue available, but that doesn't impact your support obligation as long as that support order is in place.
Okay.
Okay. Anything else that you'd like me to be aware of, sir? Yeah, we're not hearing you, Mr. Anderson, so. Yeah, we're just getting words here and there. We're not able to hear any sentences or anything like that. So say it again if you have something, sir.
No, sir, I don't.
Okay, thank you. Anything else, Mr. Sackrader?
No, nothing further, Your Honor.
Okay. Well, the court does note, I've heard the testimony in this case that, again, that Mr. Anderson had worked for approximately 2 weeks at JBS, period of time in early May, that he said he made about $500 per week doing that. He obviously had money that was available. He utilized that he claims, to fix a car that had apparently was damaged or whatever, that again needed repairs, etc. That he said he has a job now that he just acquired, that he'd be working on houses. Today was in fact his first day, where he'd be making $10 to $15 per hour. He does have high school education, and he's enrolled at KVCC as well in this matter. Court will note that based upon this, that he has had the ability to pay his support obligation. His obligation is only $150.50 per month, and he has not done that, notwithstanding the fact that he's had income available to him. So he's had available resources in which to pay. The court has not heard any testimony shows that he does not have the ability to acquire and maintain employment. As a result, the court will find that he has voluntarily failed or refused to comply with the orders, notwithstanding having the ability to do so. With that, anything before sentencing, Mr. Sackrader?
Yes, Your Honor. My client testified that he is caring for the child with Ms. Briggs in this case. That he did, he's at his job today. He does have the ability to start paying on any child support obligation in the future, and that he is going to file a motion for a change in custody. It's for those reasons that we would ask the court to not impose any jail sentence in this matter. Thank you.
Okay. Well, Mr. Anderson, what I'm going to do is I could sentence you up to 45 days in jail. I'm not going to do that. What the court is going to do is I am going to sentence you to 10 days in jail with credit for 0 time served. I'm going to allow you to purge yourself of contempt by paying the sum of $300, and you'll pay that no later than June 30, 2023 at 4:00 p.m. If you fail to pay the purge amount, then you'll have to report to the Calhoun County Jail to serve the balance of your sentence. You understand that, sir?
Yes.
Okay. So hopefully you'll get that paid prior to that. Mr. Abbott, in this matter, you're before the court charged with civil contempt of court due to your failure to pay child support and/or related expenses Upon a first conviction, you could be ordered to serve up to 45 days in jail. If it's a second or subsequent offense, up to 90 days in jail. You understand the charges? The court has appointed Mr. Sackrider to represent you in this matter. Have you had sufficient opportunity to speak to Mr. Sackrider in preparation for these proceedings?
I talked to him briefly in the break room, explaining my situation. And if I can speak, I heard the other lady, because I've been watching it live, she mentioned if it was even a $10 payment, I made a $23 payment. So I paid some on my child support. I can't pay everything. I got 4 kids here from 7 years old to 19 months. And then I'm trying to pay child support on my other kids with my soon-to-be ex-wife that I'm going through a divorce for. And I don't see my kids, and then my son run away.
Oh, hold on, sir. Sir, hold on. You're going to have a chance to speak and tell me all this stuff, but now isn't the time, okay?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. Mr. Sackrider, are you ready to proceed?
Yes, Your Honor.
For an adjourned show cause hearing. He has current support in the amount of $198, and he's ordered to pay $50 toward the arrears, plus $3.50 in service and processing fees, for a total monthly obligation of $251.50. Mr. Abbott's last payment was in fact June 6th, and that was $23. He made a self-payment at the front of the court. He has had 1 prior contempt finding. This is the 3rd show cause. For 2 months of compliance, Mr. Abbott should have paid $503. He's paid $0. And just so we're all clear, compliance is measured through the end of May because June is not yet over. So the $23 payment made on June 6th is not figured into the past 2 months of compliance. Total arrears through the end of May are $7,570.81. A friend of the court would like the court to be aware that Mr. Abbott actually refused to go into the LEAP program. He refused a court-ordered LEAP referral on April 5th. I did a voluntary referral. He did not participate, and he also stated to me that he is self-employed. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Sackrider, do you contest or dispute any statements made by Ms. Brown?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Any questions for Ms. Brown?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Any proofs, Mr. Sackrider?
Yes, I'll call my client.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, Mr. Abbott, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Did you hear the testimony of Ms. Brown?
I did.
All right. Did you disagree with anything that she testified to?
No, and I did refuse the LEAP program because I am currently employed, but with the economy and COVID and everything slowed everything down. You know, I'm not going to give up my career and my passion to go do a LEAP program when I got 4 kids and a home to take care of. I don't get food stamps. I don't get nothing. It's all out of my pocket.
Okay. And where are you currently employed?
I do fugitive recovery. I work for multiple bond companies throughout West Michigan. Been doing it for quite a few years. Since COVID, the jails really haven't took people. Bond companies slowed down on bonding people out. They're still bonding out, but they're low amounts. And I don't get paid unless I put someone in jail. So everything comes out of my pocket. My gas, anything to do with that. If I don't catch a person, I don't get paid. And then I do drywall with my dad. And with the economy the way it is, wood prices going up, people ain't building houses and stuff like they used to. So we're getting odd jobs and remodels here and there. And, you know, I got to pay my bills here and then try to make a payment. That's why even $23, I'm trying to make an effort.
All right. How much would you say that you earn per week right now?
Right now, the last job I made was $400 doing drywall, and I've been waiting on files from the bond company, and all I can do is email them or text them and be like, hey, any files yet? You got any files yet?
Okay. How much did you make in the last month?
$400 is what I made. And then when we do drywall, we get paid on the 1st and the 15th. So we got to go 2 weeks, but we only hung 100 board, and at 19 cents or 13 cents, I think it is, or somewhere around there. I have to ask my dad, you know, it only comes out to a couple $100, and that's split in 2 ways.
Okay.
And then I'm paying in the house, taking care of 4 kids, 7 to 19 months old, like diapers, wipes, food.
Okay. And you have 4 children in your care at your house?
Yeah.
Is there anyone else in the house?
My soon-to-be wife later on down the road.
All right. How are you supporting your wife and 4 children right now?
My dad owns the house, so he helps me out, and I work and pay the bills. I got scrap in the backyard. I've been doing everything I can do just to make ends meet around here. and not go to jail because I went to jail for child support, was in there for 5 days, and I got a month behind on my bills.
Okay.
You know,
Do you have any?
Go ahead.
Sorry. Do you have any ability to pay any amount today?
Not today, but I can guarantee on the 1st I can come put like 200 down, because I got my gas, water, and electric are due, and my gas is due on the 3rd, and if I don't pay that, they put a shut off notice.
Okay.
And-
Sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, I want to put this on record. I wrote the courts and I let them know I pay child support on Caleb Abbott, my son. There's been a lot of issues and CPS has been involved. Tabitha's been evicted. Tabitha kicked Caleb out. He lived with me for about 6-7 months. I was getting food stamps with him for him and stuff like that. But he wanted to be rebellious, and he's at his brother's house now. And I was trying to let the courts know so they can take it into consideration. You know, even me and Tabitha not together, and we're going through divorce. My kids come home. They've all run away. I've got multiple police reports. Like, they all come back here, but Tabitha has the upper hand right now until I get another lawyer, because Larry Snyder become a referee.
Okay. How many children do you have with Tabitha?
3. I got 2 daughters and a son.
All right. Do any of them live with you?
Caleb was for 6 months, and I wrote the courts and got food stamps for him, but I've never heard nothing back. But Caleb, I tried to help Caleb, but he was with his mom, and his mom lets him smoke and do that stuff. And he was taking my cigarettes and stealing stuff, not going to school. And I got on him, took his Xbox, his TV, took, the stuff that, a father would take. And he got mad at me. So now they're living at Eric's house, which is mine and Tabitha's, my stepson that I raised with Tabitha, Eric. And then her other daughter is 15. She run away. So it's Eric, David, Haley, and Caleb all in a small apartment. And them are the kids I raised with Tabitha. Caleb's my son, and the other ones are my stepkids.
All right. What is the plan for paying the child support obligation in the future?
I just pay as much as I can when I can, like at least every month, something.
All right.
I go to jail, I lose my house, and then I lose my kids. And
all right. Anything else you want to tell the court?
No, sir.
No further questions.
Okay. Sir, I couldn't get a real handle on what you make. You said that basically in the last month doing the drywalling that you made about $400. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
And how much in the last month did you make from the bond company?
I've been waiting on, I got 4 files right now. I've been trying to run, but I've been short on gas, and between doctors and my kids and stuff like that, and drywall being slow, I ain't been able to actually go out and drive around and look for people.
Okay. So in the last month, have you made any money from the bonding company?
No, sir. No.
Okay.
No, I've done work. I do work for Speedy G. I did work for J&J, Abbott, Bell Bonds, Quick. There's several of them, but they have different people in different areas too. So I'm in Calhoun County, so I do our surrounding area unless they want me to travel farther.
Okay. Okay. Well, you refused the LEAP program because you were self-employed. You wanted to do that. Obviously, it doesn't sound like you're working very much. So why would you not participate in the LEAP program?
Because I have 4 kids I got to take care of. I can't afford a babysitter. I can't, my soon-to-be wife in a few years, she's getting ready to go back to work to try to help out and pay the child support and pay for daycare and stuff like that.
How old are the kids, sir?
7. There's 4 of them. So the oldest is 7 and the youngest is 19 months.
Okay.
And then the ones with my wife that I'm fighting custody for are 7, 5, and 14, 13, 14.
Okay.
And then I've tried helping her out, Tabitha. She just got evicted because she tore her house up and run the bills up, and CPS is involved. I got pictures of the filth they live in.
Okay, I don't need to know all that. That's not relevant for this hearing. So how we're, again, getting back to the thing with the refusing the LEAP program, it sounds like you've been given an opportunity to acquire employment. You haven't taken it for various reasons, and that would get you some income. There's all sorts of jobs all over town. You see help wanted signs in almost every business there is. Why haven't you got one of those jobs?
I don't know. I like doing drywall and I like bounty hunting. That's my passion. I've tried working at gas stations. I've worked at marathons and other places. I've worked at Burger King. That was one of my first jobs when I was 17. And, things will pick back up. But between COVID and the economy right now and prices going up, wood going up, everything going up, it just made it hard.
Well, there's a lot of jobs out there, sir. You can work at Denso. They're hiring almost everybody that comes in the door. There's a lot of other places that are hiring just like that. So,
yeah, I put a couple applications in a couple of the small factories, but I ain't heard nothing back yet either. So,
well, a couple applications, you could do that in a half an hour, sir. So, of course, not impressed by your effort there. So,
yes,
anything else you'd like to tell me?
No, Your Honor.
Okay. Anything else, Mr. Sackrider?
Nothing further.
Okay. Well, in this case, court's heard the testimony of Mr. Abbott that he has, in fact, knowledge that he does do drywalling. In the last month, he's made $400 for that he works also for bonding or for bond companies. But again, that's been slow. He's not been able to for various reasons. Has not had gas to, again, for his vehicle to go out and look for these individuals, et cetera. The court notes that, again, that he, notwithstanding that, he does have done some work. Like you said, he's scrapping, he's making money from that, although the court would note that's probably minimal. But the biggest concern the court has is that he was offered participation in the LEAP program, that he turned that down. As he states, he likes drywalling, he likes to work at the bonding company, but he's not making sufficient income within which to pay a support obligation to do that. Court finds that he's effectively being voluntarily underemployed in this particular matter. The court notes he has had income with which to pay the support obligation. He has not done so. Last payment being June 6th, he paid $23, so he's paid some, but not a substantial amount, considering that he's choosing to, again, maintain that self-employment income and jobs rather than to acquire employment that he could readily acquire based upon the labor market and stuff that exists in the town at this particular point. The court will find that he has failed or refused to make payment, and as a result that he is in contempt of court, having the ability to do so. Anything before sentencing, Mr. Sackrider?
Yes, Your Honor. My client testified that he has been making voluntary payments on his own, that he is caring for 4 children currently in his care, and that he does understand his obligation and the need to pay on it in the future. It's for those reasons that we would ask that the court not impose a jail sentence, or if the court does have that jail sentence suspended, and a purge amount be set in the amount of $250. Thank you.
Okay. Ms. Brown, on the he was held in contempt on one occasion. Did he serve jail time on that time?
He has not served any jail time.
Okay.
I did 5 days in jail for child support warrant.
Okay. Well, regardless, Mr. Abbott, what the court is going to do is, again, because, again, it doesn't show that you've spent time in there. I'm not going to sentence you to a substantial period of time, but I do feel that it is warranted. What the court's going to do is sentence you to 10 days in jail with credit for no days served. I'm going to give you an opportunity. However, I'm going to set a purge amount of $300 and have that paid no later than July 7, 2023 at 4:00 p.m. If you do not pay the purge amount of $300 by that date, then you need to report to the sheriff's department to serve the 10 days jail sentence. You understand that, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. I'm giving you an opportunity to stay out of jail, and hopefully you'll take that. So that will be the order of the court. We'll conclude this matter. Clark, in this matter, you're before the court charged with civil contempt of court due to your failure to pay child support and or related expenses. Upon a first conviction, you could be ordered to serve up to 45 days in jail. If it's a second or subsequent offense, up to 90 days in jail. You understand the charges?
Yes, sir.
And court has appointed Mr. Sackrider to represent you. Have you had sufficient opportunity to speak to Mr. Sackrider in preparation?
Not good enough, but anyway.
What?
Not just real quick. It wasn't even 4 minutes.
Okay. Mr. Sackrider, do you feel you have the ability to proceed in this matter?
Yes, Your Honor.
On the 94 case, these are all arrears only. On the 94 case, Mr. Clark has a monthly obligation of $53.50. His last payment was June 6th. That was $40.54. He resolved his bench warrant through front of the court by paying $200. This is his 5th bench warrant. He's had 2 prior contempt findings. His total shortfall, including the shortfall at the time of the hearing he missed, which was February 15th of 2023, his total shortfall is $374.50. Total arrears through the end of May are $40,566.46. On the 2000 case, Mr. Clark has a monthly obligation of $53.50. His last payment was June 6th. That was $40.54. He paid $200 through front of the court to resolve his warrant. This is his third bench warrant. He's had one prior contempt finding. Total shortfall for 4 months is $374.50. Total arrears through the end of May, $1,105.87. On the 2017 case, Mr. Clark has a monthly obligation of $88.50. His last payment was June 6th. That was $68.92. He paid $200 to resolve his warrant through front of the court. This is the second bench warrant. He's had 0 prior contempt findings. Total shortfall, $619.50. Total arrears through the end of May, $10,244.71. Friend of the court would like the court to be aware that Mr. Clark was previously ordered into leave. He was participating, and then he was terminated in July of 2022.
Do you have any questions for Ms. Brown?
Yes.
Go ahead.
All right. Why was he terminated in July of last year?
His behavior was very, according to what I was told from Michigan Works, pretty much he cussed people out. His behavior was aggressive and erratic, and he was terminated.
Okay. Did he find any employment opportunities from that program?
Friend of the court was not able to establish an income withholding while he was in leave.
Okay. All right. I have no further questions.
Okay. Any proofs, Mr. Sackrider?
Yeah, I'd call Mr. Clark.
Okay, go ahead.
All right, Mr. Clark, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Did you hear the testimony of Ms. Brown?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir.
Was there anything that you disagreed with?
Yes, sir.
What was that?
About the program. She called me on the phone. It was a recorded line. She asked me, did you want to try out this program to get a job? I said, yes. And then I get to the program over there, right across the street. I'm right across the street from Work First. So I don't live that far from Work First. So I attend there a lot. Anyway, I went over there and I asked the lady, I say, is you going to help me get a job? Because Ms. Brown said you was going to help me get a job. And she said, no, we're going to sit here and figure out why you can't get a job. And I say, that ain't nothing to figure out. I'm a sex offender. They don't want to hire me. I could only ask them for a job. Instead, I said, well, I'm going to start up my own business because I got tired of begging for a job and got tired of not eating. So I started up my own business. Here go my card. And I've been working and doing the best I can. But I still been putting in applications.
All right. Let's go back. How long did you attend that LEAP program?
That she told me go over there and try it out, and you could check it on the phone because she said, well, it got to be a court order. And then I said, you ain't got to do that. I just want to go check out the program because the last program I graduated from KCC with a welding certificate and didn't even get a welding job.
All right. When did you do the certificate program at KCC?
About 2 years ago.
2 years ago, and was that through the caseworker at front of the court?
Yes, sir.
All right, so you got a certificate in welding?
Yeah, I got my certification and everything. I got a poster of me for graduating at the top of the class somewhere up in Detroit.
All right, when you did you apply to jobs for welding?
Yes, I applied to a lot of them, man. I've been going around. I went to Tentacle. I went to all of the places I knew that they do welding.
All right, what did they tell you?
They didn't call me back, man. That's how I know it's the background, okay? And then I went online and started putting my name online, trying to get jobs in the background. They stopped me at the background check. I got a copy of that on my phone. I don't know how to show you, but I got a copy of it.
All right, so you haven't, sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Do you have any felonies on your record?
Yes.
All right, did you have any prison time?
Yes.
How long?
14.
What'd you say?
14.
14 years in prison?
Yeah.
All right. When did you get out?
2011.
11? All right.
Since then, I've been working with the courts and telling them. I wrote them a letter and I told them that I'm going to do the best I can. I know I got a messed up charge and it ain't going to be easy getting a job. I wrote them a letter and said that before I even got out of prison.
Okay. You showed the court a business card. What kind of business are you in?
Odd jobs. That's all I do. I run around town and do odd jobs for people. I get my money. I pay my light bill, gas bill, and child support with it.
Okay. Yeah. How much are you earning doing odd jobs per week?
It ain't no specified amount because different people want different things done, but it's around 300.
300 a week?
About.
All right.
And some weeks I don't even make that when it's raining. I don't make that because I do all outside jobs.
Where do you live?
820. Yeah, but I live in the basement.
All right. So you rent a place in the house?
Yeah, since I've been out of prison, I ain't moved, ain't nothing.
All right. And how do you afford rent? Through the odd jobs?
That's how I do everything. I mean, I can't make nobody give me a job. I can only ask them. So if I got to knock on doors to get a job, that's what I'll do. And that's how I've been doing it. That's how I've been paying for everything. Knocking on doors, man.
All right. And she testified that you paid $200 to resolve a bench warrant. Is that correct?
I paid $600 total for all three.
Okay.
And I had to borrow that and then go paint the house later on when it stopped raining to just to get the job.
Okay. And are you making payments on your child support obligations when you can?
You got one coming Friday. As soon as I get paid Friday, I'm gonna bring another $150.
$150?
Yeah, I did it on the 6th and I'm gonna do it on Friday.
All right.
This Friday.
Okay. Anything else that you would like to tell the court?
Well, I'm doing the best I can. I'm doing the best I can with what I got. I came out here as a sex offender and drug dealer and all of this, and I'm just doing the best I can. I fill out applications. I knock on doors. I'm doing the best I can. That's all I can tell.
All right. Thank you. No further questions.
Okay. Mr. Clark, in this matter, it sounds like you've been pretty consistent at odd jobs. Is that correct?
Sir, I get up every morning at 4 o'clock, milk cows every morning.
Okay.
7 days a week.
Okay. So that's one of the odd jobs you do every day?
Here go the whole list.
Okay. Tell me what.
Put it up there for you.
Well, I can't see it. You're going to have to tell.
Okay, I'll read it off. I paint, I do roofing, I do gutters, I car wash, I clean porches, I power wash porches, I cut trees, I clean garages, I do yard maintenance, I do basement cleaning, house cleaning, moving, pack ups, moving. When you pack up, like we got a college here. So when they pack up their stuff, sometimes I end up hauling their stuff back home for them or going to get them. Then I do general labor jobs, small carpenter jobs, power washing, and I'm a certified welder.
Okay.
That's what's on my card.
Okay. How many applications have you said you've put in about the last 6 months?
In the last week, I put in 10. In the last 6 months, about 35, 40.
Okay.
But the last week I was working up in Lansing, so I was dropping applications where they let me fill them out at. But once they hit that background check, they don't call me. I don't even get interviews. So that's why I referred to knocking on doors to get me a job.
Okay.
I'd rather ask you for a job than do something stupid.
Okay.
Your Honor, may I also?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. So the friend of the court is aware of Mr. Clark's criminal history, and it has hindered him from maintaining employment. He did successfully complete his welding certification. He actually gained employment after that, and then he lost that job. He'll have to tell you why. But we friend of the court also put him in lead to try to help him overcome those barriers to maintaining employment, and then he lost his temper and was terminated from that. Friend of the court is also aware that he does odd jobs. The issue is that Mr. Clark does not pay consistently. His payments are sporadic.
Okay.
Your Honor, can I say something?
Yep, go ahead, sir.
My payments aren't consistent because my jobs aren't consistent. When I get money, I ain't got no problem with paying. If she called me and say, Terry, you need $200 for a warrant, guess what I do? I go ask the next person I'm working for $200, and then I just do the job and pay the warrant.
Okay.
So I am working with y'all. I'm not trying to run or nothing. Plus, I got to get up 7 days a week at 5 o'clock every morning for the last 12 years, probably. Like I say, I'm doing the best I can. And I'm really giving it an honest effort if I started my own business.
Okay. Anything else that you'd like me to be aware of, sir?
No, sir.
Okay. Well, court will make the following findings in this case. Obviously, the testimony has shown that that Mr. Clark has obviously got his certification in welding approximately 2 years ago at KCC. He had a job briefly after that, and then for some reason isn't working that. He's only been doing odd jobs since then, making approximately $300 per week at the odd jobs. It sounds like he's been industrious. He's been doing that, but notwithstanding that, he's not been able to consistently pay his support obligation. And the court is aware of all of this, but it does appear that he's had the ability to, again, to pay, making $300 per week, but he hasn't been consistent in the amount that he's paid.
Because I got other bills.
Oh, I understand that. I understand.
All right.
That.
All right.
He's not been consistent in paying his support obligation, so the court will find that he's not paid out of available resources. He's failed or refused to comply, and he is therefore in contempt of court. Anything before sentencing, Mr. Sackrider?
Yes, Your Honor. Testimony was clear that my client has a past criminal history that is hindering him from finding employment or keeping employment. However, given the circumstances, he is doing his best to earn income at odd jobs and pay on his child support obligation. And while it's not in the full amount, he is making good faith attempts to pay. And we would ask that he not be sentenced to a jail term. And if the court is so inclined, that be suspended and that a purge amount be set in the amount of $300.
Okay. Well, what I'm going to do in this matter, the court does believe that a jail sentence is warranted, but a nominal amount, notwithstanding the fact that you had some prior contempt findings. You could be sentenced up to 90 days. I'm not going to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to sentence you to 14 days with credit for no time served. I'm going to put a purge amount in each case in the amount of $150, and I will give you, Mr. Abbott, until July 7, 2023 at 4:00 p.m. to pay that purge amount. If in fact you don't pay the purge amount, then you will have to show up at jail on the July 7th, 2023 date at no later than 4:00 p.m. and serve your jail sentence. So it's up to you. You can pay the purge amount or you can go to jail. You understand?
So I got to pay. I want to ask some questions first, Your Honor.
Yep, it's $150 in each case, $450 total, or you go to jail on the July 7th date.
But I got till July 7th to get that.
That is correct.
So it'll be $450.
Correct.
And then back, what do it go back to next month after July?
Well, the regular support obligation, that's not changed.
About 150, right? So I just got to get 475 now, and then 150 after that.
Well, it's more than 150. You have $53.50 on the first two cases, and then $87.50 on the other two, on the one case, the 2017 case. So it's just over $190 then all three cases.
So
okay.
So the 450 will cover July, right?
The 150 in each case will cover the purge amount. It doesn't cover July. It doesn't cover your normal support obligation. Okay.
So
this is an amount for you to stay out of jail. That's all. It doesn't. The regular support obligation still exists. You still have to pay that. Okay. Court will end this matter at 1:33 p.m. You're free to go. Have a good day. Extended availability today.